Hello, welcome to Temple Baptist Church. We're going to bring a devotional to you this morning from 2 Samuel chapter 19. I'm going to read verse 8 and to really set the scene. You need to know what's happened here, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of background. They have come back from battle. David's son Absalom has been killed, and David's nephew and the commanders of his troops, they're really getting on to David because he's laminating, or he's crying, he's mournful over the death of his son. In verse 8 it says this: Then the king arose and sat in the gate, and they told all the people, saying, there is the king sitting at the gate. So all the people came before the king, for every one of Israel had fled to his tent. Now, people grieve in different ways, don't they? We honor the loss of our loved ones. We call them, you can call them funerals, or celebrations of life, or whatever you want to call them, and as we mourn for our friends and family. That's how it's done today. But in David's time, David lived, people grieved by tearing their clothes, covering themselves in ashes, and loudly weeping, crying out loud. And as I said, David is, he's mourning the death of his son Absalom. And Jacob, King David's nephew, and the commanders of the troops, they are actually chastening David for his crying, for his carrying on. He should be, after all, it had been a day of victory for the king's army. He should be rejoicing in the victory, but because of David's sad state, and the victors quietly returned to their houses. They usually are out in the streets celebrating when they had a victory, but because the king has not come to the gate and all that, and so they're just looking at it as that he loves his enemies more than and hates his friends. That's what this seems to be portrayed here. And Joab reminds David that his soldiers had saved his life, the lives of his family, and really what he's saying in verse 7 and 8 there. Now therefore arise, go out and speak comfort to your servants, for I swear by the Lord, if you do not go out, not one will stay with you this night, and that will be worse for you than all the evil that has befallen you from your youth until now. Now, if you don't go out at the gate where you're supposed to be, it's going to be worse for you than it was. And so, so what it does, showing himself as a returning soldier, celebrating the victory. He's celebrating the victory and the restoration of David's kingdom. They're restoring it. I think as Christians, because of Christ's resurrection, we're at a loved one's funeral or celebration of life, we don't mourn without hope, do we? Christ rose from the grave. In loss, we do not despair. David was down here, and he had a right to be down here because of this loss of his son, but still his obligation as king, and our obligation as Christians, is to let the world know that we have hope in the risen Savior. We invite you to come be a part of our services here at Temple. We meet on Sunday mornings for our first service at 8 o'clock. Then we have Sunday school classes at 9, and our second worship service is at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Sunday nights at 6 o'clock, Wednesday night at 7. Come and be a part of those services. May God bless you is our prayer.